Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Thursday. Bitcoin miners, oh my goodness. They were up huge today. So we got a lot to cover. We got a story about Celsius CEO being basically arrested. Celsius also going to be basically paying a fine of $4.7 billion to the FTC, I believe. And then we also have Ripple, the case with Ripple versus the SEC. Judge finds in favor of Ripple. So that had a huge impact, obviously, on Bitcoin today, along with some of the miners and along with Ripple itself. Ripple itself was up huge today. And then we also take a look at Cleanspark. They provided that they are at 8 exahash right now. We'll take a look at the stats that we do have for them. What does that mean going forward for them? Where does that actually bring their stock price up to where I would think they would be fairly valued? Okay, so we'll get a lot to go over. But as always, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Let's get into the charts, see what's going on here on the markets and Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we can see that the S&P was up today 0.85%. Dow Jones was up 0.14%. NASDAQ was up 2.34%. Bitcoin at one point was up like 5% on the day. Did pull back down, and it's now again in our kind of box that it's trading in right now recently. And it's within our bounds here. So we'll see how it continues going forward. On the daily, it looks like it's still bouncing off of the 20-day moving average here today. It's now up about 3.05%. It's right now trading at, what is it at? 31,314. So that's good there. If we look at the RSI on it as well, we can see that the RSI on the daily is right now at 65. Last time we were back here on it, which was actually down in price. So that's looking pretty good here on the daily 4-hour chart. Let's take a look at that. We peaked a little bit here at the overbought territory. That's why we came back down a little bit. Now that the RSI is at 63, last time we were back here, price at that point was lower also, so we're looking good there. 1-hour chart, same thing, it peaked up here. Right now we are at approximately 65 on the RSI. Last time we were back here, price is lower. That's looking good still, so we might be heading in the upward direction until possibly when we get into the Fed FOMC meeting here, which is going to be on Wednesday, the 26th of July. We'll have to see what happens then. If the Fed raises rates, we're possibly going to be going down. We'll see how far down we go if that happens. We'll keep you guys posted on that. Okay, now as far as Ethereum here, Ethereum was up nicely today as well. It's up 6.43% right now. It's at 1,992, doing the same thing, kind of like Bitcoin is, bouncing off of the 50-day moving average instead of the 20-day moving average right now. So we'll see how that continues going forward. Now, the miners, holy cow. They were up huge today. So, ANY, let's take a look at, we'll leave it at that. ANY was up 12.98% today. They had a great day. Argo was up 13.51% on the day. BitDigital was up 13.66%. BitDeer was up 15.46%. Bitfarms was up 13.59%. Cypher was up huge today, 22.88%. Cleanspark was up nicely as well, 12.84%. I thought it was going to run a little bit more, given the fact that they're at 8 exahash now, about halfway to where they're going to be at the end of the year at 16, supposedly. If they can get all the miners installed by then, infrastructure built out, everything else. Cores was up slightly today. It was up only 2.15%. Everything else was going gangbusters today except for Cores. DigiHost was up 10.27%. DMG up huge today, 45.38%. I wonder if this is just people looking for bottoms in mining stocks and just piling into them. We saw the same thing in Greenwich here. Greenwich 33.77% up on the day. That one has been rallying ever since it bottomed out here in June the 13th. And it's been on a nice rally here as well. That could be one of those things where investors are looking for possible good gains, good upside potential, and they're just packing into these guys here. Greenwich, Hive was up 17.31% as well today. It was up huge. HUD 8, 19.2% on the day. Really good. Iris Energy up 11.35%. Marathon up 14.47%. Mawson, a little bit less than some of the other guys here, 6.99%. Then you got Ride up 14.96%. Soluna was up 8.54%. Stronghold was up 10.5%. So the majority of the miners had a double-digit day here. And finally, we got TeraWolf was up 22.08%. Another great day for them as well. The only miners that didn't have a double-digit day was Soluna, Mawson, and Core Scientific, looks like. Everybody else, double-digit gains here on the day. They're performing a lot better than Bitcoin is this week. We'll get into that in the video on the weekend when we'll compare Bitcoin to the Bitcoin miners. But the miners are definitely way outperforming Bitcoin right now, which is great to see. But we'll see how long this can last. Right, we're kind of looking a little overbought on a lot of these here. We'll see how this goes forward, especially as we get closer to the FOMC meeting. And if we get an interest rate hike, if that happens, we might be coming down, okay? something to be mindful of. All right. So that's it on the miners. Like I said, fantastic day. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick, see what's going on there. So we got any changes? We're still at, well, 397 million terahashes right now on the 7-day average. On the 1-day average, we are at, right now, coming back up a little bit here to 382 million terahashes as it is, okay? First story that we have here is former Celsius CEO arrested. Company agrees to pay 4.7 billion in settlement. This is pretty big here. It's a big settlement, actually. So, former Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky was arrested Thursday on federal securities fraud charges. A source told CNBC as the bankrupt crypto exchange agreed to pay 4.7 billion settlement with government regulators. The exchange has charged by the SEC and the CFTC with scheming to defraud investors out of billions. The 4.7 billion settlement is one of the largest in the FTC's history, close to the record 5 billion fine levied against Meta in 2019, and highlights what the FTC described as repeated deceptions by Celsius and Mashinsky. So, at least they're getting pounded by that. If you got bad actors in this space, get them out. I'm all for it. If they did these things wrong here, definitely prosecute them, get them into jail. Maybe it'll make other people think twice about doing this kind of stuff. So federal prosecutors also charged Mashinsky with securities, commodities, and wire fraud, as well as various securities manipulation and fraud charges. If convicted, Mashinsky and a co-defendant, Ronnie Cohen-Pavon, faces decades in prison. That would be good there. Send a message to everybody else. Mashinsky's misrepresented, among other things, the safety of Celsius yield-generating activities, Celsius profitability, the long-term sustainability of Celsius, high reward rates, and the risk associated with depositing crypto assets with Celsius, federal prosecutors said in the charging document. Okay, so this is, I'm sure, going to take a while to get it all worked out. But nonetheless, I think this is good. I think sometimes you just have to send a message to everybody else to kind of be in line, behave, and follow the laws, I guess. Okay, so that's that. Next is Ripple. So Ripple XRP token surges 96% after partial victory in SEC lawsuit. XRP climbed as high as 93 cents at one point, its highest level since March of 2022. That's basically a year and 4 months ago. You can see how it had rallied today, just a huge, right around, what was it, 11 o'clock or something like that, this came out, and it just rallied really good. The price action comes immediately after the District Court for Southern District of New York said the offer and sale of XRP on digital asset exchanges did not amount to offers and sales of investment contracts, as the record cannot establish the third Howey prong of these transactions. What are those? What's that third Howey test prong? What's this one? It's with the expectation of profit. I guess they're saying that if you put the tokens on exchanges, there's really no expectation of profit. You could lose money, like a lot of people have lost money in cryptocurrencies, or you could also make a lot of money, but there's no expectation that you're going to be making a lot of money. It can go either way, okay? That's that. What else do we have here? That's it. So that obviously helped out with Bitcoin, miners, everything else, other cryptocurrencies as well. Had a really good day today. So things are starting to kind of clean up a little bit as far as losses are being concerned. This could also be, well, it could definitely have an impact on how the SEC views other cryptocurrencies as well, where they say they're securities, excuse me, where they say that they're securities, when in fact they might not be. But this is going to be still a drawn-out legal battle, I think, that's going to last a while. Okay, so that's it for that. Next, let's just take a look at quickly here Cleanspark's production or update. So Cleanspark's Bitcoin production achieves 8 exahash as 55 million expansion goes live. So this is fantastic news for Cleanspark. Like I said, they had a pretty good day today, being above 12%. I thought they were going to do a little bit better, but nonetheless, 12% is still pretty good. So we'll take what we can get. Today, Cleanspark announced that Phase 2 of its mining campus in Washington, Georgia is live. The site is expected to increase the company's Bitcoin mining compute power or hash rate by 1.8 exahash per second to 8.5, or over half of its 16 exahash target for the end of the year. So they're currently at 8 exahash right now. It has taken them approximately 2.5 years to get to 8 exahash. Now they're planning to get another 8 exahash in the next basically 6 to 5 months, which is definitely doable because we've seen it with Marathon being able to install machines relatively quickly, get them energized, and get them up and running. So that is possible, but it is definitely going to be a challenge for them. But I think they can do it. The reason I think they can do it is because they underpromised last year, growing from 2 exahash to getting over 6 exahash to, I believe, 6.5 by the end of the year. So they definitely beat that. They have more experience with everything else. And I think based on that track record alone and growing from basically 0 in 2.5 years to 8 exahash. I definitely think they can execute on this, okay? We might be delayed by maybe a month or two if that happens, at the very worst, I would think, okay? So phase 2 of the Washington campus has a power capacity of 50 megawatts, or just over 15,000 mining machines, of which already 10,500 are already in operation. That's how we're at currently at 8 exahash right now. Cleanspark acquired the 36 megawatt campus along with existing infrastructure and machines for $25.1 million in August of 2022, and has excuse me, and excuse me, and has invested about $55 million on phase 2, including construction, infrastructure, and machines, which is expected to increase the total power capacity to 86 megawatts. Including additional miners purchased and added to phase 1, the total investment by the company in the campus is over $100 million and has already been fully funded. So that's great to hear. And let's see if there's anything else. That's it. They also had a conference call today as well. I listened to it on my lunch break. Most of it was a rehash of everything else they've talked about in the past. This was more towards, I think, getting investors or banks, institutions, things like that, to be willing to invest more into them as well, like we've seen so many do into Marathon and Ride as well. Okay, that's kind of what that was mostly geared towards. Okay, so that's it for that one. Let's take a look at the numbers that we have here. How does this actually affect CleanSpark as far as revenue goes? What is the price target now for them? And there's some assumptions here. So the assumptions are based on the fact that, well, Bitcoin stays the same price right now for basically July, August, and September. Hash rate stays the same. Those are the assumptions there. And that they basically stay at 8 exahash right now, okay, through those 3 months. This is kind of what I'm basing my numbers on. So these are the actual numbers here for the past quarter and the past 3 quarters prior to that as well. So based on those numbers, I'm looking for them to be about $12.59 to $18.88. That's kind of where I think they would be fairly valued at. With the new addition of the miners being at 8 exahash, there's obviously going to be an increase in revenue. So if we look down here, this is what I did, just so everybody's clear on it. In July, we basically just added the miners to get us to the 8 exahash here, which were these miners down here. And then we just copied them over to basically August and September. We still have quite a bit of miners that need to get installed here. We still have approximately, what is that, about 9.5, depending if they turn off any of the older miners like the 98, 96 terahash miners and the 95 terahash miners here as well, along with the 86 miners here, terahash miners. If they turn those off, then they're going to be getting closer to 16 exahash instead of the 17.5 that I have them at right now. Okay. Based on this, we can see here that potentially in July, they're going to be about revenue 17 million. In August, as the machines are going to be running for more days, they're going to be at about 17.5 million. In September, which has 1 day less than in August and September for mining, they're going to be about 16.8 million, okay? Based on that, we're looking at possibly them being fairly valued at that point between $14.84 and $22.26. I think that's on the lower side. If Bitcoin goes up in value, that's going to improve it. Also, if the network hash rate goes up a little bit, that's going to kind of cut things down a little bit, but depending on how much Bitcoin goes up in value, it could offset, obviously, the network hash rate increase as well. Okay, so I'm going to fix this back to where it was, the normal way that I have the setup. I just wanted to give you guys a comparison of where things are now, where they could be possibly in the next couple months possibly. And then if they get to obviously in the 16 exahash by the end of the year, this is all going to change. It's going to change based on where the Bitcoin price is, network hash rate, and everything else. Okay, so that's it. Let me know what you guys thought of this. As always, this will be available well, I'll provide the spreadsheet to my Patreon members, but not with this part here. I'll take this back out. You guys can see it here, what the changes are, and we'll get it updated more accurately as we get more data in each month, okay? All right, that's it. Getting a little winded here, talking too much. But that is it. I think it's fantastic news for CleanSpark, obviously getting to 8 exahash. Looking forward to them getting to 16 exahash, and we'll see how they continue going from there into the halving event next year, okay? So if you guys enjoyed the content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously, and I'll see you guys in the next one.